I have been on FitForce for just about 2 years now, and we're really excited to have this opportunity to share with you guys about hosting some kick-ass challenge groups because Emily and I feel like we do a pretty good job at keeping people engaged and motivated, and that's really the bread and butter of our business. So keeping people accountable, helping them reach their goals, that's what this is all about. And I think that's probably where most of us actually started from. So it's definitely something that we need to work on. And sometimes it can be really challenging because people aren't as motivated as we are. And that's what we want to talk to you about keeping everybody motivated and ready to go and jump into these things. So Emily, I want you to go ahead and do your introduction and let everybody know who you are. And then if you just want to kind of kick things off, that'd be great.
Hi, y'all. I'm Emily Bowie. I am a diamond coach on FitForce, and challenge groups are really the foundation of everything we do. It's getting our challengers involved as well as getting potential coaches involved. So what I'm going to do is share the slideshow that Lisa had put together for this presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Okay, can everyone see? Okay, perfect. So why host challenge groups? Ultimately, this is how we help our challengers and customers get results. It creates the buzz around the products. It helps us not only promote what Beachbody gives us to promote, such as the Shakeology or a challenge pack in the programs, but it also gives us the opportunity to identify potential coaches. When you host challenge groups and you have really engaging challenge groups, you're able to pick out people that will ultimately be assets to your team in the future. And plus, it helps you stay accountable as you're going through and gives you an opportunity to show that you are a great leader. I'm going to head over to the next slide, and Lisa's going to walk you through it. Mute. You're on mute.
All right, so we can host countless different types of challenge groups. I think most new coaches start off with a 5-day free clean eating, 7-day, I think is actually what's in the FitForce documents. I've narrowed it down to a 5-day because I think that gives people a good opportunity to see what you have to offer. And it keeps it so it's just during the work week because people just really fall off and aren't necessarily on Facebook as much as on the weekends as they are during the work week. So for me, the 5-day challenges have definitely been a lot bigger success for me. But it doesn't have to be about health and fitness. If you've got something that you're really interested in, I think there was a post a couple days ago about what other options there are when it comes to what type of group to hold. And it's really whatever you're comfortable with. And it's just a great way to get people interested and engaged in what we have to offer with the whole idea of a challenge group. That's the purpose of kind of doing these little free ones. But you can do it. I think there was makeup tips, how to save money financially, just anything that you're interested in that you have a knowledge about is a great place to start because that way you can get your feet wet and just kind of introduce yourself to hosting a challenge group because they are work, but they should be fun and you should be really enjoying yourself and everybody that's in your group. So that's a great place to start with just something short and free. So when you are going to be jumping into more of a paid type of challenge group, you really need to think about which type of group you would like to host. I think a lot of us are starting off with a 21-day fix challenge group because it's got that short time frame of the 3 weeks, which is completely manageable. I think the whole world knows that it's just a fantastic program and people are going to get results. And that's what this whole thing is really about, is getting people results. So doing a 5-day clean eating group, most people that I work with in those 5 days are losing 3 pounds. And so they're getting results immediately. So rolling them into a paid 21-day fix it's just natural. It's just something that really occurs pretty easily because you're adding value. You're showing people what you do as a host of a challenge group, and then you can get them into the other groups where they're going to be paying to get in. So before you even get into the whole invitation process, which Emily is going to go over because she's phenomenal at that, you really have a few things that you need to think about. You really need to be brainstorming. Come up with some type of catchy name or graphic. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You don't have to be an artist to do any of this stuff. There's back to basics. I think that we're all kind of coming around to that right now. We really just need to get back to the basics and simplicity. But coming up with some type of fun name group is always I think it just adds a little something. It catches people's attention. So you need to know when your challenge group is going to start, and you need to have an end date. You need to know if you're going to be co-hosting it or if it's something that you're ready to just dive in all on your own, because we all are going to have to do that eventually. Let's see, people need a deadline. People want a deadline. Our lives revolve around deadlines. So something to think about is giving people a deadline for when they need to order. And I know that a couple of months ago, there were some issues with shipping with Beachbody. So I was giving people even 2 weeks before that we would start to get everything lined up and make sure that everybody had all of their products before we would get started. But you just need to kind of think about all of this stuff before you start your invitation process. And Emily, I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to you to get into the whole process of inviting to your challenge group.
Thank you. So basically, when you're inviting to a challenge group, I think having a plan set in place is key. I like to start inviting or start the process of about 2 weeks before the challenge group. I will make a post for social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram. I use the same post for both. And then I create an event, and I try to use my post to be the first touch to everyone, and then the event, so once they get it, they've at least seen something about it before. So what I like to do is I make a very simple graphic. The ones that we have shown here, make sure you're in the picture. I think that's key. Try not to use stock photos or anything of that nature when you are doing a social media post. You want to remember that when you're inviting them to come be in your challenge group. There are plenty of people out there, Beachbody coaches specifically, that they could be hanging out with, and you want them to be wanting to hang out with you. So make sure you're in the post. And then in the body of the post, you want to talk about what value you're going to be adding when they become one of your challengers. So it's talking about what you do in the challenge group, whether it's accountability check-ins, daily challenges, giving them a sneak peek into what kind of value they have to be signing up with you versus buying it off of Amazon. And so it should be just like that snapshot that gets them interested. What I usually do is that copy that I write in my social media posts, I then take that over into an event, and I will show you quickly. Maybe I won't. Oh, yeah. Yes, I will. This is one of my events from this past one. All I did was from the post that I had out there on social media, I copied and pasted it and put it in the body of the event.
Hey, Emily.
Can you see it?
I'm not seeing it.
Sorry. Let's see. Can you share? Oh, here we go. Can you see it now?
New year, new you?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So I just went in and created a challenge group for the day that I wanted it to be, an event for the day that I wanted it to be. And then I copied that copy, which is like the wording from your social media post, and plopped it in here so that people knew exactly what they would be getting if they attended this event. And always, always, always ask people to share if they want to be entered into it or if they know somebody that wants to be. And then what I do with this event is I use it as a tool, as a reminder to people who have not yet accepted the event that I'm going through. So I went through, when I did my first round of messaging, I sent out a post on there so that everybody who hadn't accepted yet would get notified that I posted in it. Same thing, I did it throughout the process to just ping them so that they could remember that they needed to respond. And I think seeing your social media post and then seeing your event just add that extra layer of consistency. The other way that I am,
let me ask you a question real quick about that. When you have your event, then when you have people that are interested in your event, we're going to then add them to a group. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. I'm trying to get back to this keynote. There we go. Perfect. So once you create the event and your social media post, then you go into private messaging. There's two ways you can do this. You can use your event as a tool to invite people initially, or you can use the event as a reminder to the initial invite that you sent them. So what I like to do is on a daily basis, I do some Hey Girls. So that's just reaching out to whoever just to see how they're doing and catching up on life. And I oftentimes can transition that into invite to a challenge group because people are seeing my posts consistently on social media. So they feel like when I'm checking in with them, they want to tell me how their health and fitness is or has been, and if they need help or support. The other thing is I do intentional messaging where I know somebody has been liking all of my challenge group posts or my coaching posts. And so I will message them with the intention of inviting them to the challenge group. And then I'll use the event as a way of tracking. So anyone who's told me in messages that they're interested in joining the challenge group, I send them the event and ask them to attend it. And it's just an easy way to keep track of all of your challengers that you will then put into your group. The other way I have used to invite is putting my groups and my upcoming challenge groups in my newsletter. So everyone knows, at least they talk about creating an email list and getting contacts in everyone's emails and utilizing that so that you can market what value you're adding. So what I do in my newsletters, I give them a little value, whatever it might be, a workout, recipe, something of that nature. And then I just kind of scoop them in on the news of what's going on this month. So it might be a challenge group. It might be a launch of a product like Hammer and Chisel or anything of the like. So all of these people, once they're invited, I will then put them into a challenge group. And it's going to be a secret group just like you have probably been in yourself or have created for others. And I'm going to pass it back to Lisa to give her a chance to talk about what we do in the challenge groups.
Okay, so first things first, you want to have everything kind of set up and ready to go in your group. So make your cover photo, make it something pretty, upload any of your files. If you're going to offer people a meal plan, shopping list, you want to go ahead and have that uploaded and ready to go in your group, and add a description about everything that you had talked about. It could pretty much be the same thing that you did in your post. You can just go ahead and add that description in there. And then you want to start adding the people who have committed to the group. But I want you to make sure that you have a commitment before you're adding people to these groups. The thing that I really like to do in the very beginning of my challenge groups is make a short video of who I am and what I'm going to be offering to the challenge group and where they can find everything. Because a lot of times this is people's first time ever doing a challenge group, and we have all of our Beachbody language that we know, but they have no idea what we're talking about. So really them joining a challenge group, they're kind of like, I'm not really sure what I got myself into. But you have to let them know how important it is that they show up to the group every day and that they're participating, because the perfect storm of Beachbody is health, fitness, nutrition, and support. We have to offer that support, and we have to kick ass at that support. We have to make sure that we're getting them the results that they're looking for, because that's why they signed up with you. So do a short video, just introduce yourself, let people know where they can find things, because people don't know where to find those files. So just kind of walk them through the whole page of what the group is, where they can see photos, where they can see files, where pertinent information is. Make sure that they add it as a favorite so that they are getting the notifications when people are posting, because when they see people posting, it gets them excited and they're going to want to post as well. So you really need to kind of break the ice and get people talking. So I like to do that video, and then I encourage my challengers to do a short video. Some people are pretty shy about that and don't necessarily want to start with a video, and that's okay. They can do just, in the comments, introductions. Beachbody has that really great, the tools that give you the product tools, and you can do the challenge group guide, and it gives you great information about what to ask to get the ice broken for those first couple of days. So that's really how you kind of get things going when you're starting off your challenge group. But something that you have to remember is that you always want to be adding value, because again, people could have gone through any coach, but they chose you for a reason. They connected with you, and they want you to add value, and they want you to be their support system. So that's one of the most important tips that I can give you in this whole presentation, is to just be you. We do have those great tools in the online office, but you need to make sure that you're making them your own and using your own words with them. And again, video, I think, is one of the best ways that you can do that and show your authentic self. I want to talk to you a little bit about the 21-day challenge group that I have going now, because I think that I do it a little bit differently than people, but it works for me, and it's been going on for almost a year now. And I know that seems kind of crazy, but I started off with a 21-day fixed challenge group in November last year. And I've just been adding people to this group. And instead of it getting crazy and overwhelming, it's really bringing people together. And this is the most active group of people that I've ever witnessed in any type of Facebook page, really. They are encouraging each other. They've become like best friends. I mean, people are hanging out now. It's pretty awesome. But I think because we've gone more than just that initial 21 days, these people are vested in each other. So it's become this amazing support. And I know things definitely do die out, and we hear crickets, and it gets really frustrating. And when those times happen, what I do is I team up my challengers. So I started with groups of 3, and I would put these 3 people together. And by this point, I know, a lot of the challengers, and I do keep adding people into this. So, sorry, Emily, did I go over our first slide?
Oh, no, you're fine. No.
So teaming people up, for me, that has been imperative to keeping people motivated, because if you're just coming in and checking in on yourself, you don't really hold yourself accountable. But as soon as you've got that one other person that's counting on you, and it just does a little something to the equation, and it brings people together, and it gets them posting, and gets them active. So that has been my biggest help with getting people to stay engaged. I mean, if I ask them to post something, they're posting it like immediately. It's been amazing. Emily, I'm going to throw it back to you for a few minutes to go ahead and talk a little bit about how you keep everybody engaged and fun.
So just to build off of what Lisa said, I think being you is key, and really thinking about what you needed when you were going through the process initially is a great way to figure out how to add value to your challengers to make sure that they're getting what they need and kind of what they paid for, because the reason they chose you is because they thought you would bring something to the table that no one else could. So really thinking about that. In my team, I team up with my other coaches, and we run one big challenge group. So what we've been doing recently is showing, or we will share our posts. And the best way, can you see my Excel sheet? The best way we figured out doing that was creating a schedule. And what we did was I kind of gave them guidelines as to what I was thinking about. An AM post that was motivational or a thankful post, because it got people starting their days right, whether it was with a little bit of motivation or gratitude. And then mid-morning post was going to be the mini challenge. So what I did was the first 2 days, I decided to do their why, and I walked them through how to figure out what their why was. And that is why they're doing this and why they decided to take this step, so that we can remind them when times get tough or they can't get off the couch, why they decided to do it in the first place. And our second post, our mini challenge, was personal development, why it's important, some ways to get it in. And I'll show you the first one. Sorry. The first one, I just walked through a couple questions that they can ask themselves as to why they're doing this and how to keep themselves accountable. And I recorded a video explaining it. And I asked them if they wanted to record the video, to go ahead and do that. And it gets them used to talking on a video and really prepping them for potentially becoming coaches, because that's what we do as coaches. We record videos, we talk about our why, and it was a good way to get them interacted and getting to know each other too. Build that foundation that Lisa was talking about that she has with her challengers and that long challenge group she has going. The other one was on personal development. And so in the post, in the video, I talk a lot about what different types of personal development they could be doing, and if they need personal development for confidence or motivation, whatever the case may be. And then I gave them a list of when they can get their personal development done, so that they would start implementing it right away. And I asked them to post below what they're going to do and when they're going to do it. So the 4 Ds: listening to audio when you do dishes, dinner, driving, and duties, and cooking dinner. That is, your regular dinner should be with your family. And it just gets them thinking and engaged in the group. So what we have been doing is having those video mini challenges. Sorry, I have a lot going on right now. And we just signed up so that our mid-morning post would be us challenging them to kind of step out of their comfort zone a little bit. The other thing is our point system is tied to them posting stuff on their personal page. So we had one of the video challenge where it says, create a Facebook post out on your page and say that you're committed to this, you're 1 week in, you've got a couple more weeks to go. What is your biggest goal? And that you're reaching out to everyone to have them keep you accountable, and they tag your coach. So that gets you exposure and potential referrals, but it also gets them into the habits that a coach has. And then we have a PM post. It's just reminding everybody to do that mini challenge during the day. And if they haven't posted their food or workout, for them to check in and have that additional reminder of accountability. So I have found that that has been very helpful as far as with keeping people engaged. Some other ways we do it is squats until failure, sit-ups to failure. We post a passage from personal development and ask them to take their favorite quote from it. And we encourage everybody, not just coaches, to comment on everybody's post. And then that way it's getting people interacting and used to talking to each other and building that foundation that Lisa was talking about earlier. And just remember that if you have challengers in there, you can't just plug them in and then never follow up with them again. So make sure you're liking and commenting on their stuff, interacting, answer questions, and adding additional value as you go along, because just that daily post might not be enough for someone. They might need a little bit more one-on-one. The other way is, what else I do is if I see someone has not been checking in, I'll send them personal messages just to see what's going on, see if everything is okay, and if they need any kind of a support.
Something I want to add real quick. Something that I was so totally against in the beginning of my coaching career was I refused to offer prizes because I was like, you're getting health. You are taking care of yourself. Like, that's your reward. That didn't work. So now when I do my teams, I team these people up and then I offer a little reward. It's nothing extravagant. I either go to a website called Flashletics, which you can get little fitness charms or Purvita bracelets, just something that is a little trinket that lets them know that you appreciate the work and the time and the energy that they're putting into the challenge group as well. And I've gotten tremendous responses about that because people are like, every time I wear my charm, I think of all the hard work that I've put in. Or if I'm looking at my bracelet, it reminds me of how far I've come. So just little things like that do go a really long way. So just something else to think about because I was so stubborn about that for such a long time. So I just wanted to remind you guys about that option as well.
I 100% agree. I was the exact same way. So, because I always felt that point systems and prizes almost discourage people who didn't start from the jump to get going. So, one way that I've been doing it recently to involve the prizes, because I really think a lot of people are intrigued by the prize, I am doing a raffle. So instead of whoever gets the most points, it is whoever gets a point for the day gets an entry into the raffle. And then, so it encourages people who might have fallen off or might have started a couple days later than everybody to still jump in and get involved. And I love, I saw some of the gifts that Lisa sends people and they're so cute. So I'm probably going to be switching over to that as well. Really, that is all we have. Do you guys have any questions? I'm going to go ahead and put it in view to see if anyone has any questions or any comments, anything you want to add that you do in your challenge groups that you have found to be super helpful.
Hi, this is Jessica. I just have one question about inviting people. Do you guys just blindly invite too, or you wait to see or commented if people are interested first?
So me personally, I invite anyone who's done any of my free challenges off the bat. I'll invite them just because they're introduced to what it is. And then from there, I try to be a little more selective as to who I'm inviting so that people, another trick I would say is show that so not everyone can see who all's invited, because you don't want people to think you're not purposefully selecting them and that you're just spamming them as well. And I think that goes a long way. So there is an option where you can hide so that no one can see who's attending or has been invited as well.
All right, great. Thank you.
Do it purposefully.
Okay, we have a question in the chats. Do you allow people to join a challenge group even if they haven't purchased a program? Me personally, no, I don't. If they haven't purchased a program through me for one of my 21-day fix or right now my hammer and chisel group, if they haven't purchased something, then no, they're not going to be a part of that group.
I do let people who do not have challenge packs. The only thing I do require is that they either sign up with the 30-day Beachbody On Demand free trial or that they are doing some kind of Beachbody program. Because what my experience has been, and I am so this person, and this is why I do this, because I know I'm going to attract these people, but I needed to see that it was legit and you were interested and invested in me first and not just coming after my dollar bills. So I always wanted to do things for free just to make sure it was a legitimate and you really stood behind it. So I let them join in, but I do require the 30-day free trial. And in some instances, if someone cannot afford it, but has expressed interest in maybe the coaching opportunity or eventually jumping in, I will let them, as long as they sign up for a free account with me too. But I suggest going with your gut and what works for you. I personally found that I wasn't necessarily attracting people that were like me when I just limited it to purchase programs, 100%.
Anybody else?
How do you handle people that begin talking about other programs or shakes in your group? I personally will message them. I will message them, let them know that I don't like promoting or putting down any other products since it's a competitive product, and appreciate if they did not do that again. And I would go ahead and ask them to either delete it or I'll delete it depending on how long it's in there. Lisa, I don't know.
Same thing. Yeah, it's definitely something that should be going on in your group. And for me, because everybody that's in my challenge groups has made some type of purchase, that really hasn't been a problem. That was a problem when I did have my just kind of big accountability group where in the beginning I did have people sign up with me as their free coach, but it had just gotten to be, and this is going to go into the other question that somebody asked about group size. I had my big free accountability group, and it was up to over 300 people, which was fantastic. But out of those 300 people, there were like 10 that were active, and 2 of those were trying to promote another product. So for me, it just didn't work well for me. So that's why I got out of that mode of thinking.
And so we have a question as to what we do after they accept that invite. For me, I usually message them and ask them what goals they want to achieve. And I actually work with my team to have kind of a script that they can kind of go off of just to have an idea. But essentially, it's asking them what their goals are and then really getting tongue-tied. It's really getting to know who they are and what they're struggling with and what kind of fitness they like so that you can not only pair them with a program, but then talk about the benefits of bundling the challenge pack or the fitness program with Shakeology and getting the challenge pack. And I found when you start with the goals and you get invested and understand what's good for them and you provide them videos to get them excited about whatever program it is, they tend to jump on board.
Is somebody trying to ask a question?
Yeah, or in the chat, or are you seeing somebody?
I thought I heard somebody, maybe they were just breaking up. Do we have a master list somewhere of all the different types of challenges we have all run? I think everybody just kind of does their own thing when it comes to challenges. There was a group there was a post in FitForce the other day where people were asking about some challenge ideas, but I think for the most part, it's really going to be up to you and what you're comfortable hosting, because it's got to be something that you're comfortable with so that you're comfortable sharing it with your friends and your challengers.
The other one that came to mind when Lisa was talking about the different free groups, one of my coaches is doing a book group. And so they're reading chapters from The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes and just having reflection days on the chapters that they're reading. And it's just for her to find like-minded people that all want to get together and better themselves and read a book that she wanted to read too. And I thought that was a genius way of introducing it and showing the other aspects of what this coaching thing is outside of just health and fitness. It is mindset too. And Lauren said that there's templates in the Google Drive and Files section. Does anyone have any other questions? Well, feel free to reach out if you do have something that comes to mind after, just to see how we're doing it. Okay. How do you turn a book group into challengers? I mean, it's the same way with inviting, right? Like ultimately we're trying to get to know them and get on a common ground with them and be able to relate. So I guess with the book group, what she'll do is likely message and start talking to them, build that relationship so that she'll check in with them and hey girl them. And then eventually either she can make that transition over to the challenger, or they might say, hey, what is this other thing you're doing? I did think she did a great intro live video where she had her Shakeology placed right there because she was about to drink it. I don't know if she did this intentionally. I'm going to guess that she did. But she had this and she was like pulling out the book and showing the chapters. So it's just subtle hints like that because honestly, it is part of her lifestyle. And it's just another way of kind of making that transition over.
And I'm going to speak up on this one a little bit too, because I attempted to do the You Are a Badass. I hosted an online challenge group and I did it solely 100% because I cannot finish a book. Like I freaking love that book and I still have not finished it. And I have a goddamn group of people that are waiting for me to finish this book too. I can't finish it. But my point of that, because the question was, how do you turn the book group into challengers? I don't want you to just go out thinking that everybody that you're interacting with is potentially going to be a challenger. This is a great way to kind of show people, yeah, what we do, but you got to kind of change your mindset on that one a little bit. So just keep that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. I think that when I stopped focusing so much on making the sale and focus more on building the relationships, that's when things came a lot more natural because remember, I didn't want to be sold to. I wanted the relationship. I wanted the accountability. And so I try to find ways that I feel like I could reach out to people and they can see the genuine need I had to want to have a relationship with them.
How many challenge groups do you run each month? I have that How to Be or You're a Badass that's just been floating off for the last couple of months now. But I run my big 21-day group every month that just continues. And then I add another challenge group every month. So I have 2 running each month.
I usually have one free clean eating group, whether it's 5 days or 7 days.
Yeah.
And then I have the 21-day group. And then sometimes I'll put an auxiliary group in, depending on if my team's having trouble hitting Success Club, just to get the buzz going again about how to build relationships and do that.
Amy, I'm not really sure I understand what your question is.
Amy? Oh, she's typing.
You want me to talk?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to start like a Fit for Christ challenge group with a few of the churches in our area. I've been working, there's a Christian Beachbody Coaches Facebook group, and they gave me the idea of a Made to Crave challenge group, but I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if anyone on our team has experience with that.
Actually, I think Lauren used to do something that was like a fit club type thing. Is that what this would be like? Something that you're going to the church and doing something actively with these folks?
Well, it would be more like a 21-day devotional and 21-day fix all put together.
Okay, Amy, I did that. Okay.
I'm sorry. My kids are watching TV. So the way that I did it is I registered it as a small group through my church.
Hey, Lauren,
What?
is there do you have an iPad or something going on too?
I do. Hold on. Okay.
Thanks.
Turn this down. Okay. There you go. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So I registered it as a small group through my church. And it allowed anybody who was interested to join. I gave it kind of as a description where I bought there's a workbook that you can buy that goes with the Made to Crave. And there's also like a DVD series. So when we would show up, we would all just kind of mingle. I would usually make a healthy like snack or something. Like I think once I did like an avocado Shakeology pudding, and we did like hummus and veggies, and just kind of every time tried to have something different that was available for them that also kind of incorporated Shakeology. We did like the Shakeology balls one time. Then I've done this twice, and then another time we did it late at night. And I would just make like one healthy side dish, and I would give them the recipe that went along with it. So they got to try out the food, and they also had a new recipe to take home and kind of do for their family. But we focused a lot on just being healthy. And because I was we did the devotional, we like did a little chat about the the exercise and about the lesson that Lisa Turkers talked about. And then afterwards, we would do a 30-minute workout. And I also had Shakeology samples, like as I would just make up like a blender full. And I got these cute little, from the dollar store, plastic martini glass type looking things. And I would just pour in a little bit for them afterwards to try it out. And I gave them the option, like if they wanted a whole one, then they could buy a whole one for like $5 or $4. But then a lot of times the way that it transferred into, I didn't do it with expecting anybody to purchase anything, but a lot of them loved the healthy ideas and the like clean meal ideas, that they started asking me a lot of questions. So then when I hosted a free clean eating group, a lot of them wanted to be a part of it because they already got a taste of what that was about, and now they wanted a full meal plan. And then if they didn't join the free clean eating group, a lot of my people in my groups would actually ask me what we were doing. And the workouts they were sampling were actual Beachbody workouts, and they liked them. So almost every single time we actually hosted a group, somebody would purchase a challenge pack. And that's how over the summer, I did the first one over the summer of my first ever like year of being a coach. And a lot of people locally showed up and worked out in my driveway. So it was fun. But it's a great way to kind of turn things over. It doesn't have to be perfect. Literally, I set my computer up and we worked out in my driveway.
Okay. I might text you some more questions. Thanks, Lauren.
Dana, do you mind asking your question?
Can you hear me? Can you hear okay?
Yep.
Okay. So if you're running two different challenge groups, for example, if you're doing 21 Day Fix and 21 Day Fix Extreme, or Hammer and Chisel and 21 Day Fix, it's really not recommended to do both workouts, especially with Hammer and Chisel. I know at least what I've been doing is trying to incorporate me actually doing the workouts so that I'm doing what my challengers are doing. How are you doing that if you're doing two different groups?
Different times.
My challengers right now in the 21 Day Fix know that I'm not doing the fix. I'm still following the fixed meal plan because with Hammer and Chisel, you're still using the containers.
Right.
But they know that I'm not doing the fix right now. And it's cool because people that are in my big 21 Day Fix are still doing or starting Hammer and Chisel right now. They're also talking about that in the 21 Day Fix group. So I'm kind of getting a little bit of cross promotional without doing anything. So for me, that's how it works because I'm always honest with my challengers on what workout that I'm doing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I usually just run one at a time, mainly because it's too much for me to try and keep up with multiple ones, especially with us trying to post 3 times a day. But
All right. Well, I think that should pretty much. Sorry, just reading that one. Yep, just be true. Exactly what Lauren just wrote. Just be true to what you're doing. But I think that pretty much sums up what we do to get people engaged and have fun with it, because that's what this is about. Just making sure that you guys are having fun with it and getting people the results that they want. So if you have questions, you know where to find us. We'll be in the group.
yeah, and thank you for hopping on, and let us know if you need anything. Bye.
Night, guys.